All right. Well, let's get started. This is Peter with Castleback Radio, Lead Your Cookies, DJ Fist here. I'm here with Patrick from Abraded. How you doing, Patrick?
Good. How are you doing, Peter?
I'm doing great. So that's pronounced right. It's not Abraded or anything, is it like that?
No, you got it. Only when we're in another country.
What do you mean?
I think that would be the we have a South American tour coming up in March, and I think that would be the pronunciation down there is
Oh, really? Abraded.
yeah, something like that.
That'd be cool. So I see you're mostly going to talk about the Grind Fest here. Have you ever been to Tampa in Florida area before?
We played St. Petersburg before. There was a really cool band from down there called Cellgraft. It was a sick grindcore band. They were like it was like insect warfare, like Assuck styled, and Assuck is another like Tampa legend.
Yeah,
OG grindcore band that's a big influence for us. So it was cool to play with them. They were in that same vein as like that influence.
that's cool. Where was that? St. Pete? Or how long ago was that?
Somewhere in St. Pete. That was a while ago. That was good.
I can't.
7, 8 years ago.
Oh, okay. I can think of places in St. Pete that was a grindcore show.
Yeah, yeah.
There was
Cellgraft was the band, or I'm sorry, Cellgraft was the first one. Then Sacrados was the band they did
hmm,
after it.
yeah, yeah, that's weird. Maybe there used to be a place called State Theater in St. Petersburg, but they would have metal shows, but nothing metal shows, death metal shows, and I can't really remember any grindcore shows there. Anyway, so let's see. I'm going through your discography here, and you just put out your latest album, Unadulterated Perversity. Was it yesterday or the day before?
That was the day before. Today's
Day
Sunday.
before.
It came out on Friday.
Friday. That's right. I like your picture on the Metal Archives, all three of you in the dumpster. That's funny.
Oh yeah, thanks.
So I see you play drums on the album. Looks like you do
Yes, I
a lot.
did. Yeah, I've been playing the drums, and I handle the like the other recording and the mixing and everything of the album too.
Looks like you do a little bit of everything. I was looking up your your whatever bio and metal archives, and there's all these bands. That band Hemdale sounds familiar. Are they an older band?
They're a way older band, so I scabbed for them. I'm only 28. Um, so Hemdale's OG gore grind band from the
Yeah.
90s. They had split with Exhumed and everything. Super sick. And then so he's from around here. He's from Cleveland area, from Mentor. And then back in 2014, I guess, he decided to reform it. Had some dudes, and then the first dudes didn't work out, and I ended up doing it. So
Nice.
that was my first like time we got to go do tons of stuff. We did like a 5 week European tour. That was the first time I ever left the country. Um, and then just got to do like festival stuff, but it was an awesome time playing in Hemdale.
It must have been great. Yeah, I recognize the name, like Hemdale. That was from back in my day because I'm like almost as twice as old as you are. I'm an old man.
Yeah, that
Right.
band's older than I am. So it was funny because sometimes people would have to come up after we play and ask me to sign the record, and I'd be like, I wasn't even born when this record was made, right?
Yeah, and all these. Didn't you have some kind of? I don't know if it was a joke or something. I saw on your Facebook you had some issue with somebody stealing something from your
Oh
recent
yeah,
gig.
fuck them. Haha. Their name's INFJ and the Hellgullies. If they're watching this, screw them for stealing MDFL.
They did what?
They one of my other projects. They thought it would be real cute and real funny to go put out something under one of my other band's name, and
Really?
they're gonna be hearing from my lawyers for that.
Oh man. I see. There's MDFL. What is that? What they're trying to use the name of?
That's what they did.
Wow, that's not cool,
Haha.
man. Well, I was surprised. Abraded. There, I only found one band with name Abraded. It's hard to find original band names like with a radio station. I hate it when bands do a submission like and their band name is like totally generic, and you try to look them up. There's like 20 different bands with that name. Like, ah.
I know this band sends you dead body, dead poop, dead corpse. They're all taken. You gotta put, and then even like, so like
Yeah.
Metal Archives, they'll come up with the country in parentheses after to differentiate them, but then there'll be 5 other ones too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You got
there's an Abrade. Someone actually sent me the tape for a
Oh yeah.
trade. They were like, "Oh, I thought it would be funny if I sent you this Abrade tape." So Abrade, pretty good. And then there's a band, Abrasion, out in California now.
Mhm.
I think California, like metallic hardcore band, not bad. So
Yeah.
maybe we could get an Abrasion, Abraded show. That would be really cool.
That would be funny. What does the word abrade mean? I didn't look it up.
So abraded is to have your
Abraded.
skin removed, like an abrasion.
Well, that doesn't sound like any fun.
It depends on what you're into.
Yeah. I saw the album cover of yeah, unadulterated diversity is pretty cool.
Got it.
Who did that artwork?
That is from Titian. That's a real painting from, I think it's from 1620.
That looks creepy. What is it exactly? Guy hanging upside down,
So
upside down.
it's from a the title of the painting is called The Flaying of Marseille, and that is an old it's a like a mythological story in which Marseille is he's a musician. I think some of the myths have him playing the pan flute, but it varies depending on the culture that the mythology is talking about. But so Marseille is a legendary musician, or known for being able to create
Hmm.
joy through his music. And the devil sees him, and the devil is jealous that he is able to influence people with his music.
No.
So the devil challenges him to a musical contest, and they have the contest, and they say, whoever loses gets to choose the fate of the other person.
Okay.
So some of the myth, some of the cultures, some of the variations of the myth have it so originally Marseille wins and the devil wins on like some technicality, while others have it just overtly that the devil wins. But regardless of whatever culture the story is from, the devil wins.
Hmm.
So the devil says, "I want to have you skinned alive in front of everyone." So this is him after after the devil has won the contest. You could see in the painting, this is
Yeah,
him being skinned alive in front of everyone.
that's pretty cool. I can see the devil in the picture. I don't know who the dude sitting next to him is. Kind of looks like a scholar type guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd
But
have to. I couldn't tell you all the
yeah,
characters in the painting, but
I have to look it up. That sounds like an interesting story. Well thought out idea for an album cover, not just something generic or
sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah, so the relevance it has is I look at it as allegorical, as opposed to like the development of a person's ego, in the sense that the abrasion, like, so the skin is representative of the skin is one, the largest organ of the body, but it's also the layer of protection between the person and the outside world. So the way I perceived it was that to be abraded itself would be to remove the layer of protection between yourself and the outside world. So when you are a musician or anyone in the public eye and you go through something, to have that, to have like a fight or an altercation, whatever you go through to be public like that, is to have that layer of protection removed, because you are exposed to the world. So that's how I felt like I was going through. So that I did try to find something, an album that had like a mythological, allegorical, archetypal relationship to something I was doing.
Yeah, yeah,
So it wasn't just that it looked cool, even though I do think it looks cool, because
yeah. It looks really nice.
I love like None So Vile,
Oh
Dawn of
yeah,
Possession, like anything that has like that classical. That's so OG death metal to me, is to have the
yeah.
classical painting.
Your the abraded release looks like a good classic death metal album cover with the
He did a good job. That dude's name is Wormwalk. He's a modern dude. He does shit now. He does shit for tons of bands. I was in another group, Noxus, that just had him do the cover, but he's done shit for tons of band. Wormwalk with a Y. Check him out if you're into his art. For if anyone, whatever, listening sees
how do
this,
you how do you spell that?
WYRM WALK,
Okay.
Wormwalk.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
gotta plug him. His paintings are awesome. I love that style. I love the actual paint. That was an actual painting. That wasn't digital.
Oh, nice. How do you find these guys? Do you know their work and you just contact them and say, hey, do you give them an idea in mind, or you just say, do something and we'll work with it? Do you work around the painting, or is it the other way around?
I'm normally pretty open. Like I'm only gonna hit up someone that I don't. I try like usually I'll give them like some direction, but I'm really only interested in working with someone I don't like. I don't want to have to micromanage anyone,
Mm,
and there in my perspective, like I can do layouts and stuff, but I don't do drawings myself.
yeah.
So I'm hitting up someone who I think is like who I'm confident is going to be able to do it. Um, so he knew to do it. I think we probably said something like, we want heads on a stake, Cannibal Holocaust style.
Yeah.
Something which again was just related. That's been the theme the whole time was like regressing to primitivity.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he knew that. So but other than that, yeah, he decided the colors and everything, and I think he did a good job with that color scheme.
Yeah. It's nice. The gray and the kind of a swampy looking background, what it reminds me of, like a swamp.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I like your logo too. It's one of those death metal logos. It's hard to read,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
if you look at it carefully enough, you can read it. But it's not like some of them are just obnoxiously like. Bleh.
I know. I think so. We just had a gig 2 days ago. We had a bunch of rappers on it. So, but they were so one of the other dudes was adding people anyway. So they had someone else like draw up a new flyer because I was slacking on updating it.
Yeah.
So when someone else who wasn't involved with me made the new flyer, they couldn't tell that our logo said anything. So we ended up getting removed from our own flyer on the thing
No.
based on it. So I would say that passes the death metal test of
Yeah.
illegibility.
Yeah. That's funny.
So
How's it playing a gig with rap guys? Like, are people like going to see the rap guys and they see you, hear you, is like, what the hell is this? Or is it the opposite?
so they're more like, you know what I mean? There was only one guy on that gig that was like old school hip hop. The other ones were kind of like there's a lot of like modern kids that are doing more so like screaming hypey rap or rap influenced by hardcore punk. A lot of them. So it was actually a pretty fitting gig in the sense that it was a more like up tempo kind of hardcore rap thing, and they all had like either like a metal or a goth aesthetic. So it
Yeah,
really energetic wise, it was pretty fitting.
that's good. Yeah. Have you ever played a gig where you were miss whatever misrepresent? I can't think of a good word, where you're playing with different bands that didn't fit. That's what
Oh
I'm
my god.
trying to say.
Yeah, and that wasn't our first time. We actually my other band MDFL was a grindcore band, so even more extreme. So we were lucky enough we did get to open for 3 6 Mafia on a gig before because they were doing it like pay to play style, and we lied to it. We just loved 3 6 Mafia, so we just lied to them and told them we were rappers too. Sold tickets for even that. So that wasn't too dissimilar because again, like 3 6 is like the OGs of the kind of devil, like having that devil whatever dark aesthetic.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we've been on. Oh my god, so that like I just said that MDFL band. There's a video we got, and it's from 2013 where we're playing this benefit. So uh our drummer and singer worked at Applebee's, and they were having a benefit show for muscular dystrophy. So they were like, they knew that they were always taking time off to go play music. They didn't know what kind of music. So they were like, oh, why doesn't your band play? Like, why don't you guys, and
Oh
like
yeah.
the drummer's like, I don't know if you guys will want that. And they were like, no, you're just being modest. We'll put you on it. So that was a situation. So there's kids in wheelchairs. It's like
Oh
this muscle.
man.
So we set up, you know, man, I got my my stack, my amp stack and the full drum kit. And yeah, we had to they kicked us off after like 2 minutes. They realized they made a big mistake.
Oops.
Yeah. So
That's
the
funny.
video's on there. We preceded a lot of people compare it to the have you seen the What the Fuck's Up Denny's
No.
video? It's just like someone out in LA, they had to have set up this. It was all hardcore bands playing inside this Denny's. So there's a meme like where the hardcore band's playing and it's right before a breakdown and he's like, "What the fuck's up, Denny's?" Like as like a
Oh,
call to like
yeah.
start moshing for the breakdown. So, but that was, I would like to clarify that that was multiple years after we did MDFL Grindcore Band live at Applebee's. So we watched so they could
Applebee's.
run. If anyone asks who did it first.
That's funny. That's weird playing at Applebee's. You
Yeah.
never think about that.
Did a Girl Scout benefit show too. That also what we weren't fitting on.
That's funny. So how long has it been Abraded been around and making some music?
So Abraded, we did our first record in, I think that was 2018.
Yeah, that's what it said here.
Yeah, and that was with a different lineup. That was with dudes I had played with in another band before. I was in their other band, and so we did that record. And I put it out myself on my label's called Aggressively Uninterested.
Yeah, I saw that.
So yeah, so we did that. I put out that tape, and because I've done a lot of like I had like a main band at the time, and then I had done a lot of like collaboration stuff with other people. And every time I did that, I put it out like under a different band name. And I wasn't like thinking about promotion or anything at the time. So I would do like this one project and like be like, oh, here's a new band that isn't playing shows and I'm not trying to whatever. So it would always fall on the wayside, and because it would just be one recording. So what was cool was when I first put out the Abraded tape, I was giving them away, like playing at gigs with MDFL or whatever other project I was doing at the time. You know what I mean? Because there was no traction or anything, and we
Yeah.
had played 2 or 3 live shows, and then it took at least 6 months, maybe even a year, and then people started buying them, and then other distros started hitting me up, and then that's when Maggot Stomp um, got in contact with me, and we were the second. I want to say we're the second record he put out, which was super cool.
Hmm.
I had talked to him before, just buying pins from him before he was even doing records. So then he put our record out, and then he ended up selling out of this records pretty quickly, and his label blew up. So his label's big now for, you know what I mean, for whatever. Like I'd say his niche is kind of like younger, yeah, not old dudes, not purists. It's younger dudes that are playing old school death metal mixed with um hardcore, like a Terror, Madball kind of hardcore. Are
Yeah.
you familiar with the label?
I've never heard of them now.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's funny. Yeah, so whatever. Apparently they haven't. They're not too big if they haven't made it to your neck of the woods.
No, it's hard to keep up with all the at the radio station. We get so many submissions all the time. It's hard to keep up. I'm in charge of uploading them to our Dropbox account and giving them out, sending them out to all our DJs, and it's just so much stuff. I'm
Oh
never
my
caught
God!
up.
So how
Never
long have
caught
you
up.
been doing that for?
Oh gosh, a long time. Can't
So
remember.
have you noticed that? Do you feel like there's been an increase in the past, let's say 4 years, 5 years,
Oh yeah,
metal
for
bands?
sure, for sure. All the time. There's tons and tons and tons. It's hard to get your name out there. Try to be unique enough where you stand out, where you're not just part. They throw you into one different genre. It's like, they're just technical death metal. That's all there. There's 1,000 technical death metal bands out there. So, something like that.
Totally.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, because when we would play gigs 10 years ago, like a death metal band, there were no other death metal bands to play with. We would play
really?
with deathcore bands over whatever, but it wasn't like now, like where it is in Cleveland. Now they have like a old school death metal worship styled band playing every weekend, and it'll be a 5 band bill with nothing but like old school death metal bands, and it was
Yeah.
like no, there were not, and it's people my age or even younger. You know what I mean? I see kids that are, we just played. There was a sick band on the East Coast we just played with called Wretched Inferno, and they were like 16 to 18. Same with
That's funny.
Mutilation Barbecue from here. Is like I think the one kid in that is like 16 years old, and
Wow.
they're playing that shit. And it was that just was not kid people when I was doing that. There weren't other kids my age that were into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine. When I was 16, I tried to make music. It was horrible. It wasn't anything good.
Well, same here.
Yeah. But I still did. I still do it. I have my own music that whatever. It's not too great, but anyway. You're
Plug it up, plug it on the radio.
yeah.
What's your
My
shit called?
my shit is called gefilte fist. Like
Okay.
you ever hear the food is called gefilte fish? I
Yeah,
want to.
yeah,
I made a gefilte fist, so it's kind of
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
basically me and my coworker one day after work in 2004, no 2014. They said, "Hey, I'm going to write some songs," and I got him to join me, and we have like gosh 2,000 songs. There's more quantity over quality.
Oh my God.
It's and
Well, what
some
is short shit like noise core stuff? Like shit.
I don't know how to explain it. It can be it's weird. If you look it up, gefilte fist on YouTube, there's one of our most popular songs is a song I made called "The Toilet Will Not Flush," and for some reason that song got some traction because it went on some playlist, and it's like, how did this happen? It's like weird,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's
That's
fun.
cool. The same thing happened with us with Spotify. Is we were just lucky enough that because we were on playlists for the Maggot Stump stuff, um, the stuff that was fitting, so people were listening to, it, and then lucky enough, they start once you are getting a certain amount of plays, they start recommending you just like they'll play like one of our songs after another album ends or something.
Yeah,
So now we get tons of streams. That's the majority of our stream. We get tons of streams because they don't like they'll suggest it. And whatever. I guess enough people don't turn it off. So I would say it's good. They're maybe they aren't seeking it out, but when presented, they are not turning it off.
well,
So that
that's
has to
good.
be pretty decent.
Do you use a streaming service for your
Yeah,
music?
I use Spotify myself.
I mean, do you use a distribution company like CD
Oh
Baby or
yeah, yeah,
DistroKid
yeah.
or whatever?
I've gone through a couple of them. The very first one I did was called Root Note. They do everything for free, and they just take some of the royalties. So if
Okay.
anyone's listening to this that like doesn't do that yet, that's a great like first one. They're just really anal about like samples and stuff like that. Like they
Okay.
want like to see your clearance and stuff. Um, I used another one called Amuse for a bit. That was a good deal because they gave you unlimited artists for $60 a year, but you
Okay.
had to upload everything through your phone. So now I'm just using
Hmm.
DistroKid.
Yeah, I use DistroKid. I thing I like about DistroKid is I pay $20 a year and like it's unlimited songs. So
Yeah. Okay. And then you got everything under Gefilte Fest.
yeah, and
So you're
because
solid then.
somebody told me on one of those videos, someone said you should go on Spotify. I was like, all right, I guess I'll finally do that. And looked up DistroKid and CD Baby. CD Baby, I think is like you got to pay per CD, is like or per song. Is like, no, I don't want to do that, but
Yeah. Fuck that. So do you have all that on streaming? Is like 2,000 songs?
not all of them because some I used to some of the older stuff I tried to be more offensive, even
Yeah.
though
Okay. Cool.
and so I can't really say some of the album covers or the song names because they used to be
Oh,
really
great.
offensive.
We're in good company then.
I don't do that anymore because I guess I kind of grew up and I really I'm
Yeah,
not
I
out
get it.
I'm not out there to offend anybody really, but used to try to do that. I didn't
Sure.
succeed, but
Well, I think that's a lost art these days, and I think it's growing more.
it's hard to offend anybody.
You think it's hard to offend people?
Well, in some ways.
Yeah. It's hard to deal with it. I think there's more actual demand for that than ever as people grow more. I think people grow more identified with their persona, with their public persona, of being you can say politically correct or just being polite. There's like a lot more
Yeah.
expectation of that these days. So I think I commend anyone who can stick to drawing attention to the futility of the public persona.
Mhm.
So I think being offensive does serve a purpose.
Yeah. You can do it. You just have to get noticed. If you're just doing it, and nobody notices. It doesn't matter. Because
Yeah, yeah,
I would try hard to offend something, but nothing stuck. So I just
yeah, yeah.
gave up. So you're I guess your label aggressively uninterested. If you ever have bands, you want to send them our way. I can um, help get them on at least our radio station.
Oh
Or
yeah,
enough.
that would be great. I have quite a few releases. The last couple I've done were great. Yeah, I'll definitely send some over to you, like with some information, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I always like to try to help out, like playing underground stuff. I'm not a station. I'm not, my radio show isn't a station where I'm going to play Slayer and Metallica and Megadeth and Pantera. Like, yeah, those bands are good, but you can hear that on any other radio station. So,
Yeah, what kind of stuff do you like to play?
uh, anything and everything. I play a lot of band submissions. I try to keep up with all the bands and management companies that submit music. I try to play a bunch of those every week. And like for the next 4 or 5 weeks until the Tampa Grind Fest show, I'm going to be playing as many bands I can get from the show. There's 2 nights of the Tampa Grind Fest. I think, 14 bands in total,
Yeah,
7 bands each night. So I try to play at least every week. As soon as I always help Eric out with the temp. He's with Tampa Bay metal scene and a bunch
yeah,
of other
yeah.
groups. He's in that band Blasphemation. They're pretty cool. It's just him and a guitar player, but I always try to help him out with shows at the Brass Mug. So he does a Tampa Bay Grind Fest, and later in the year he does a Tampa Death Metal Fest. So it's a good time.
That's that's awesome. What about, do you have any particular do you have any affinity to a particular style yourself?
Not really. Lately, I've been into like a lot of, there's funeral doom kind of stuff, the really slow stuff. Like there's a band called Bell Witch out of Massachusetts, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I'm familiar with Bow Witch.
They have that one album where it's 83 minutes long. It's just one song.
Okay.
It's just nuts. It's just something about it just like so slow. You think you get bored from it, but I'm sure there's bands out there that do it that are boring. But
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As long as they're into it. Did you
but
hear
the,
that Worm album?
I heard, yeah, I've actually played one of their songs, not the latest album, but I guess their first album.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's really good stuff. And
Yeah, that shit
the
was sick. Because that's from your neck of the woods too, right?
I think so, yeah. And
Somewhere around.
there's another band called Ahab. It's really good.
Okay.
They
I gotta check.
all their songs are based on nautical themes, like their latest
Okay, I could
album.
have guessed that from the title.
Yeah, their latest album is based on 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's like it's different.
Okay.
I like it because it's different. So yeah, stuff like that. But I'll play anything. I play
Yeah.
I play a band I like to play on my show a lot as a joke is Hall and Oates because I
Okay.
like playing something really aggressive and private eyes
Yeah, I
watching.
love I can't get with that.
I can't go for that.
I can
Yeah.
go for that. Yeah, that's classic.
Yeah, that's up. Yeah, basically play anything. So as long as it sounds good, actually, yeah, it sounds good. It's not horrible. I'll play it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So who else is in the band Abraded?
So we got it's me, John Gonzalez on vocals, Mark Gallen on bass, and the one and only legendary Evan Kraus on guitar. Evan is another guy, like you just said, goes for anything. He does. He's got a couple country western albums. He's been doing dance stuff. He's got funk album, jazz album. Very
Wow.
cool. Because I'm about that too. We're very varied. Just varied in musical styling. We like doing whatever we can. So it's cool to work with someone else who can isn't just has no limits to being creative.
Yeah, yeah. That's always good. You get your inspiration from many different things. So
Yeah. I do there's a balance with it too. There's a lot of inspiration in having a limited palette because then you're inspired to make the best with it. MacGyver it. I got a broken drum kit, shitty bass, some guitars. That's cool too, but so we have a good relationship where we can go kind of wherever we want on the
yeah,
spectrum depending on what we want to work on.
yeah. It's funny there's bands that can mix. Like there's this one obscure band that has a song that sounds like the group Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it goes into a death metal blast beat. It's like so funny. It's like goes from one extreme to the other. It's
Who do you
hilarious.
know who it was?
It was a band called People.
Okay.
If you look them up, I play it quite a bit on my show. It's just so bizarre. It's just like dance Miami Sound Machine, Gloria Stefan music style, and then it stops and it,
Super cool.
yeah, it's so
Um,
funny.
we just played a band with this, or a gig with this band Bonginator that did that too. They have this concept album, so the intro is this, yeah, total like Giorgio Moroder like synth intro where they tell you the concept of the album and get you keyed in, and then they kick in, and it's like total beat down stuff. So they did no shortage of creative ideas. So that, but that's crazy that the people I'm sure did it first.
Yeah, they were a band from Israel. They only put out one release. It was on Relapse Records for some reason,
Okay, okay.
and I don't think they did anything else. Like, where did this band come from? It's so weird.
Back in the '90s, was it?
Yeah, I think it was '94.
Okay, so early on. Yeah, that was something that's interesting. If you go back to Hemdale, so Craig, the original drummer, had a label at the time called Visceral Records, and this was before Relapse even formed. He had Nile and he had
Oh,
everyone on
really?
it. And then when they ended up giving up on it, he gave all those bands to Relapse.
Oh, wow.
So he was OG in that, and then he had I wish I could remember who else it was, but it was definitely Nile and Exhumed and Hamdale and I forget who else it was, but tons of other cool stuff. But that old Relapse stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Relapse. I remember I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and their record labels in Philadelphia. You used to walk by their office, like, oh, that's cool. You can just like see where it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure it wasn't the biggest
No,
office,
no,
and
it was like a little building. I think it was like
that
on the second floor or something of some other building.
that's so funny. Did you ever see the comp they did? It was called like Corporate Death, I think.
Yeah.
So it's got them in the big office, like acted like it's super what, and I was like, it was probably fucking two dudes in a basement.
No, no, that's probably about. You're probably right.
Yeah,
And down the street where I live used to be. I don't know if you ever heard of a studio called Morris Sound
of course.
Recording.
Yeah, of
That
course.
that was down the street from me. Where all the classic bands used to play.
Did you ever get to pop in there?
No, I don't know if they moved, or I think somebody
Yeah.
actually lives there now.
So my understanding of this, there's a guy we go to named Noah here. He plays in this band Nunslaughter. If you ever heard of
Mhm.
Nunslaughter, so he's big. He does tons of recording. He's probably the biggest recording engineer guy for that stuff, for metal stuff. He does all the Midnight records. If you ever heard Midnight,
Yep.
so my understanding is he has the board from Morris Sound.
Oh, really?
Got the I think it's a SSL.
Hmm. That's cool. Yeah, I remember when I first moved here. It's like, whoa, that's down the street from where I live. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was. I would have been trying to check it out too. When did you move there?
95, I think.
Okay, so when it was going on still.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. But as soon as I moved here, it seemed like the scene was dying. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
But it grew back. So, and the place you're playing, the Brass Mug, has been around for ages, forever.
Hmm.
Since, gosh, I don't know, the '80s, probably late '80s or something.
Okay.
It's a good
Super
little,
cool.
it's a cool little dive bar. It's not too
Yeah,
small,
yeah.
it's not too big. Um, so when you're coming down here, you're going to be stopping anywhere along the way, or you're just coming down for the one show? And
No, so we set up the one guy's got us set up in Port St. Lucie,
Mhm.
down by Vero Beach.
Yep.
Um, and then Chad set us up with one more gig. The place is called If I Brewed the World. Does that sound right?
I never heard of it.
Someplace he's been setting up at. That's Orlando.
Okay,
Or
yeah,
Orlando area, and that's with we're super stoked. That's with our buddies in Corrupted Saint. Have you ever heard
I
them?
heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. If anyone listening to this isn't familiar with Corrupted Saint, they do like really awesome demolition hammer styled like death thrash. And they are just tight as fuck, dude. They are
Yeah.
just fucking ripped, dude. They're so just on point musically. We played some gigs with them. They came up. We had a couple gigs with them over the summer, and they just blew us away. And they were so much fun to hang out with.
Yeah,
So we're stoked to be able to play with them again.
yeah. I think they played the Tampa Death Fest too as well. So
Sure.
it's hard to remember so many bands. It's
Oh my God, I know.
So how's the scene up in Ohio? You're near Cleveland or?
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you it's funny you say you're not familiar with like what I was talking about earlier, which is fine, but like yeah, there's tons of people from other places will be like, "Oh my God, what's up? What's in the water in Ohio?" Because there's tons of bigger um people who are, I'd say, leading this old school death metal resurgence.
Mhm.
Um, bands like Sanguisugabog, 200 Stab Wounds, Mutilatred, Mutilation Barbecue, tons of bands that were on Maggot Stomp or whatever, and then ended up going further than that or whatnot. So they're yeah, Midwest is popping with death metal right now, and which is again was very strange because it was not 5 6 years ago. It definitely
Yeah,
was.
yeah, that's good. I know our the band that we were friends with for the station. There's a band called Grave Huffer, and have you heard of them from Missouri?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're really cool guys. They played at Death Fest once. They came down to Tampa, and we're good friends with all those guys in the band. They're
That's
more they're more thrash, not really thrash. I don't know how to explain it, but they're super cool guys. If you want to get on the show with them, they're super nice. They're really good,
oh yeah,
good
I would love
guys.
to. I think that's one of the only spots we never played is Missouri. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
you get,
there's really not too many states we haven't played in at this point.
that's good. So you said you're going to South America too?
Yeah, so we have as of right now, it's a month long tour in South America, but the second half of that or the last 2 weeks of that is in Peru. So there's tons of shit going down right now. So whether that will pan out or not is up in the air. But yeah, the first half of it for sure is in Colombia and Ecuador.
Hmm.
So we got a cool gig. The first gig we got down there is with Nunslaughter. I think they're on some tour with Morbozadad, which is a really cool billing. But yeah, so we got a cool show with Nunslaughter in Medellin, Colombia, and then we got a bunch of gigs in Ecuador. So that'll be our first time. I've been to Europe with Hemdale before, but other than that, and we've played Canada, Mexico.
Yeah,
But it'll be super cool to see South America. Definitely super excited for that.
yeah, that'd be interesting to see how that goes and what it's like down there.
Yeah, for sure.
I
They
am,
seem very eager to have any kind of band. It seems like that market is a little less saturated.
mhm.
My perception is that maybe down there, stuff like recording equipment and stuff like that isn't quite as accessible as it is here now. So it's
Yeah,
they're a little behind as far as getting totally saturated like we are.
yeah. Because imagine the fans there are. I would imagine that you have good turnout there because here it's hard to get people to come out to shows a lot. It's like, come on, you want to go see some stupid cover band playing whatever Fleetwood Mac songs, but you won't see an
Yeah.
original band,
Yeah,
which
it really is like that.
that's
Uh,
annoying.
and especially, and then there's a lot of usually it's the same bands like on a local show, and it loses its novelty.
Yeah,
Um, my I take some music courses now. My music business guy who was a talent buyer in the '80s used to book Hall and Oates and shit like that. Would always say like, yeah, if it's a band's first gig, I'll always put a band's first gig on because they're gonna bring everyone they know. Their mom and their sister are gonna come
oh
see
yeah,
them. By the time they're playing every weekend, there's no novelty to it anymore. So then you get the same five people.
yeah, that's true. Well, cool. Well, let me. This has been going good. I think we could talk for an hour here, but
Sure, yeah.
anything else you want to touch on, or anything I missed that you want to talk about?
No, I think you've been very thorough.
So I like to. I don't write down questions. I like just having an interview as like a conversation, like we're having. Like there was
Yeah,
an old DJ on our station we make fun of. He would ask the same list of like 20 questions. He'd ask a
yeah,
question. He would ask like in his style. He would say, can you talk to me about unadulterated perversity and how it came to see the light of day? And then you would go on and explain it. And then his next question would be, can you talk to me about Abraded and how that came to see the light of day? He would just go down to discography and say the same thing, and he wouldn't interact with the
Yeah,
person's interviewing. It's
it's
just
funny. It's
it's
funny when
horrible.
if you're like tearing up the linearity or the chronology of it, where it's like, well, I just answered that. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Sometimes it's like that when you get interviews, especially we'll get because we do a lot of stuff. Like all our stuff is we have a label down in Brazil that puts the stuff out. So half the and I have to say how much I love the question like this one label dealing with foreign people. Like I think the one that just did patches for us was in Indonesia, and it's so funny. So you get the sheet with all the patches, and it says like, "Blessed are the patch for sick metal freak only. Do not try if you are false." Like, and I love that like the broken English aspect of it. So
uh,
it's kind of the same thing. Like we fill out interviews, it'll be like, "So what is it?" Exactly like you said. So what? How was this conceived? What is abraded? You know, like where it doesn't flow.
yeah, yeah.
But to them, I can give
Benefit of the
them the
doubt.
credit of English isn't their first language. To
Mhm.
your DJ friend, maybe just no one told them.
Yeah, he's just
He was
horrible.
he wasn't vibing with the
He
conversation.
he interviewed Morbid Angel and the new singer of Morbid Angel. First
Hmm.
question he is asked is like, or he's Morbid Angel, a new singer was in just started the band. He asked, "How did they come up with the name Morbid Angel?" It's like, dude, this
Yeah,
guy's brand new to the band and they've been around for ages. Why are you asking him, you idiot?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, do some kind of research.
How did he handle it?
You could tell the guy, I forget his name in Morbid Angel, was kind of like you could hear in his voice, like, oh my God, did he really just ask that? It was like, man, that was, yeah, terrible, terrible questions. He once gave me a list of like 25 questions. Oh, here's the greatest list of interview questions. And that's the list he sticks by. Just he doesn't deviate. It's always the same darn questions. He just
Yeah,
keeps doing interviews, I guess. I don't know how he.
whatever. If it works for him, maybe he could get a little more confident and just freestyling it. If
I
it's
don't think
getting
so.
done.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen. I like freestyling and just coming up what's come up with things on the top of my head. I don't like being structured with, oh, I got to ask this, I got to ask that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
I get it. If you got something to cover, you know what I mean.
yeah, definitely.
Like the
If I
grind fest, whatever. Cover grind fest.
like,
But
yeah, if I'm talking to you, I'm not going to be talking about. Well, let's talk about the band Ethereal you're in. Let's only talk about that.
hmm
It's like
yeah.
it's like what? What?
Well, that's cool. That's cool. You got the research up. That's
At least I got
pretty
that.
cool. I appreciate that.
So I'm not dead in the water. Like, so Abraded, cool. All right, you guys are a 3-piece band, or 4-piece band. You do this, do that. All right, great. That was a great interview. Talk to you later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But all right, I will see you in March. No, April. No, yeah, no, it's in May.
Hey,
Excuse me. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna be playing the heck out of the bands, and I know you're not on your band's not on Facebook, but you're on Facebook. So I'm on Saturday nights at 10. So we do have a chat room. You can go to castblackradio.com. There's a chat room. You can chat with us, chat with me. But I'm playing. Tell me if you want to hear something, or if you say you're here, I can play that People song for you. There's also another funny band you probably never heard of called should have had it on the top of my head. Hold on, I'll find them. It's so weird and bizarre. It's like a whole private joke, and but it's just they're called Crotch Duster.
okay, okay. No, and I have heard them because
Oh, okay, yeah.
our the guy who drove us in Europe drove them too, so he was playing their CD for us, and it was super
It's
funny how they do like the kind of hair metal-y like just like goof off stuff and
yeah, it's so funny. It makes no sense to me at all because it's like a private joke, but it's just hilarious.
love it.
Okay, all right, cool. We covered everything, I think. So I'll be seeing you in May. I think it's March, but it's in May. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And send me your email. I'd be happy to send over just I'll give you like some information. I'll give you like just our releases and just some information as to what the style is or whatever if you have any interest in playing any of it.
Yeah, anything. I see you have it's 6 bands listed in aggressively uninterested. Oh yeah.
I don't like sign any. I just do like releases.
Okay.
The
I know. Yeah.
last one I did for one of my band wasn't is this sick. It was a sick grindcore project. This kid Rory did his project called Lorelei, but
Mhm.
he's playing. So this dude's playing guitar for Gridlink now. Are you familiar with them? Do you know Discordance Access?
Yeah. Heard of them. Yeah.
So this is the guy from Discordance Access's new project. Discordance Access was other like legendary '90s grindcore band with Dave Whitty. Dave Whitty went on to play drums for Municipal Waste and
Mhm.
tons of shit. So yeah, this shit it's like crazy, super. It's grindcore, but it's in that Discordance Access style where it's like super technical
Yeah.
riffage, but not in a tech death way. It's still very aggressive. So, but yeah, I thought his tape was awesome, and it's something that just like you know what I mean. He's another dude that has 3 projects, that does some
Mhm.
recordings, that made some killer recordings, but like probably won't get out because he's not pushing this
Yeah.
band or whatever. So it'd be cool just to find whoever. I know there's people that are looking for that would be dialed into that niche that want something like that aren't into tech death
Yeah.
kind of style. So that yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah. I'll reach out to you and I'll get whatever band. Like I said, I'll play anything, and as long as it's decent, not like I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But yeah, as long as it's good, I'll play it. And
Send me some gefilte fists too.
yeah, I will. I'll message you on Facebook. You might regret it, but
No, I trust me, I will not.
okay. All right, Patrick. It's been great talking to you, and had a good interview.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you so much for
I'll
having me and for taking the
look.
time to do it.
I will upload it to YouTube probably in a day or two. I'll be going to bed because I wake up early. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
all right,
whenever you send it to me, I'll make sure I share it
yeah,
and everything, and I'll share the Castle Black stuff.
all right, cool. All right, Patrick. Thank you very much. You have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.